Okay, so today is what?
March 22nd.
March 22nd. All right, so I have been doing outside garden updates, and I haven't done really a garden update on this back porch since Valentine's Day. I do believe February the 14th, which is my ranunculus. So I'm just going to do a quick video on the ranunculus update and kind of what I got going on my back porch. My back porch kind of is like a greenhouse because of all the clear plastic and the sun. So it works to be able to come out from my house to work here instead of having to go outside and work in the greenhouse. But you can tell I have my area here where I've been mixing, you know, like my my composted manure, my potting soils, my seed starters, all that kind of stuff in here. And depending on what I'm planting, I'll use different mixtures. So I do have right here my gladiola bulbs. I have half of them that have already started to spring up, and I'll show you those in a minute. But I actually put these in here directly on the soil so that way they can hopefully root into there. But this is kind of what I'm going to update on is my ranunculus. So if you remember, I had a whole bunch of ranunculus and I put them all in one tray. And what happened after that? So they started sprouting in one tray. There were so many that were sprouting in one tray. What I had to do is I took the ones that were sprouting and I put them in a second tray. And this tray here did not have any sprouts in it whenever I took all of these ones off. These over here had not sprouted yet, but as you can see right now, they are all starting to sprout. I am starting to get a lot of ranunculus and a lot of little bugs. So the ranunculus is definitely growing, and I know a lot of people will kill the ranunculus by putting it out in the cold weather too early. I actually almost killed all my ranunculus by keeping it in here where it was too hot. They have bounced back, so that's good. So our last frost date is around April the 9th. So I still have about 2 to 3 weeks before I can actually transplant these outside without worrying about a frost. So I'm going to try to keep them in here. And what I am doing is I am actually just using this. And yes, there's a lot of little bitty flies. This little spray nozzle, and this works really, really well on a 1 liter bottle. It fits really, really well. I don't really want to use a 2 liter bottle because it gets kind of heavy, but just a nice 1 liter, and it gives you a really good spray. Got that off of Temu. And also it does have this other end, so if you do want to just use it to pour, it does both. Now, if I want to use this, I actually will hold on to the whole open hole part and spray. So we're gonna keep kind of going down, but that's the ranunculus. In here I have cucumbers and okra sprouting. Here I have white onion. Here I have Brussels sprout plants. Yesterday I got carrot seeds put in. Now over here, I'm going to show you, if you remember the video that I did not too long ago about Dee's seeds, Dee, who is down in Florida, she sent me some seeds, and I did want to do an update on those. This is the papicha seed. I do have a couple of those sprouting. The cilantro seed. I do have papalo seed sprouting. And here is the cepiche seed. I do have epazote from somebody else that hasn't started to sprout yet, and I also have some anise here that started to sprout. I do have my hyacinths down here, and I actually did splurge and buy another rose. This is Mr. Lincoln. I do believe it was from Lowe's. The blueberry bush here from TYTY Nursery is still alive and green. Let's come down here real quick. So my gladiolas that you've seen over there in the tray, half of them had already started to wake up. So I put them in their own container and they're starting to sprout. My lilies here, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I had a whole lot of lily bulbs. The lily bulbs are starting to sprout also. I did put my dahlias over here. The tubers were starting to root. And hold on, you stay there and just pan. So in here I have dahlia tubers, and in here I have some more lily bulbs. Let's see, over here I'm still trying to get the ranunculus seeds to sprout. There's like, I think 700 seeds. And I'm not sure if they just haven't been getting enough sunlight or whatnot yet to germinate. But it's been a month, a little more than a month. And I don't know if the seeds were duds or if it just hasn't been constantly warm enough for them to sprout. Let's see. So in these two containers here where my feet are, these are different kinds of tomatoes. There's tomatillo that's purple and regular tomatillo. And then there's like, I think a couple different tomato, I know early girls in here, Roma, cherry, rainbow, beefsteak, some other tomatoes and that in here. And here, let's see, we have, this is a pepper, a tray with like serrano peppers and stuff. Nothing sprouted in there yet. Over here we have squash and eggplant that's starting to sprout. And then over here we have, I do believe, jalapenos, and I'm just gonna moisten it, not giving it a good water. I'm just moistening the top of it. I know you don't water in the daytime, but I'm just making sure that the top of the soil is not drying out too bad. And then I'll water them at night. But I just kind of just want to get the top just slightly moist. And then my cactus is down here. I tried to transplant 3 like I did last year. 2 of them have already died. And that was my fault because when I had my cactus and when it got really cold, my cactus were out over here. And the cold air in that would seep in and they ended up killing the cactus all but one. So what I do at night when I know it's going to get colder, I'll pull all my plants back. So that way the cold air or the cooler air doesn't actually have contact with my plants, that they're back away and they're safe. Okay, so yes, I have been a little bit busy, and it's been kind of, you know, like I said, exciting to get everything started in green. I know we have the container plants outside, and I definitely want to make sure I have stuff already growing to put out there, but I did just want to do an update again on some of the D's seeds that I have and that I've gotten, so that way you can kind of see how everything has been going. Okay, so I just wanted to use this bottled water. But like I said, out here is basically where I am doing a majority of my gardening. I am starting to put flower seeds in hanging pots. A lot of these are going to be a lot of the morning glories. I do love how morning glories look. They're viney. Over here, I also have a statue that's going to go in my garden. This is Elvira, and this is actually the chia pet Elvira. Her hair was kind of like a red, like the clay color. So we actually took some paint and painted her hair black. Yes, it used to be, her hair used to be this color. So she is going to go out in my goth garden and be a decoration out there. So that is just a little bit of an update today. Like I said, I know I've been doing updates on working and stuff outside, but there's also been work inside. I still have a lot that I want to plant and get planted. So with that, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. Takes a second. Leave a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments, you know, what you're growing. Are you starting to grow stuff right now? Do you already have stuff growing? You know, what are your plans on growing? Do you have any suggestions for ranunculus seeds? You know, like I said, I don't know if I'm doing that wrong or if I just got a bad bunch, but all right. I am actually going to go ahead and end this video, but remember, again, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video, which is definitely going to be pretty soon because I have lots of gardening stuff and dog stuff that I'm doing. All right, bye.